Welcome back, everybody. Summer has officially kicked off here at Universal Orlando, and with summer comes new expansive retail locations. Here in City Walk, we have the preview center for the brand new theme park opening next year, Epic Universe. Over in Islands of Adventure, we have the Monster Hideaway Tiki Bar starring the Universal Classic Monsters, and we can't forget about the annual Summer Tribute Store over in Universal Studios proper, based around iconic Universal films. These limited time stores are elaborately detailed and are some of my favorite things that Universal does. Why don't you guys come along? Let's go make some memories together. We're gonna be starting up here in City Walk for the Epic Universe Preview Center. Now this is less of an actual retail location and more of exactly what it sounds like. It's giving us a preview of what we can expect next year when Epic Universe opens. There's gonna be 5 immersive lands, including How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo World, Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and Universal Monsters, along with their own original land called Celestial Park in the center of the theme park. Now, to thoroughly enjoy the preview center, you're gonna wanna download an app because there's gonna be some AR things that you can do while you're inside. And I've tried to avoid spoilers as much as possible, so I'm really excited to go check this out for the first time because Epic Universe is like at the top of my list of things to anticipate in theme park news over the next few years. And when you first walk in, you're gonna see some of the merchandise for Celestial Park. This is the center of the park, and it's more or less just like the general idea of what Epic Universe merchandise is going to look like. They're going for this idea of like the cosmos and galaxies and dimensions, and it all looks really, really cool. And I love how they use the like really deep blue with the gold. I think of the general merch for the park, I think this is probably my favorite thing so far, just because it's just the emblazoned image, but I think I want to wait for like an opening day shirt, you know? So the way this park is going to be set up is that each lane is going to have one of these giant rings in front of it, and it's basically like you're entering the portal to that world. So it's like you're traveling the cosmos when you're in Celestial Park, but then the very minute you get to one of the worlds, you warp there, and then you're like truly immersed in that land. So as you're walking around the store, you're gonna see all the portals of all the different worlds and all the merchandise for each respective land. And then in the very center, there's gonna be a giant model of the park, which is so good looking. And even though these are renders, from what I've seen of the construction so far, it's pretty one-to-one. They've done a great job of like taking what is supposed to be there versus the art that they've created for it. So we've got these 2 guardians here. One of them is a man, one of them is a dragon, to show that they are in harmony now, because obviously it takes place after the first film. We've got the little village here with all the houses for both people and dragons. We actually can see part of the roller coaster that's in the land there. Very cool. Now, Universal is no stranger to having things like Toothless merchandise. It's a very, very popular franchise. Kids love Toothless, adults love Toothless. We do have things that are actually branded for the land itself. So anything with Isle of Berk on it is gonna be for the brand new park. Coffee mug, really nice blue and yellow tank, Isle of Berk hat, kind of a retro-inspired ringer tee, Toothless popcorn bucket, ooh, a themed Toothless hat, complete with ears, pins on pins on pins, on magnets, on keychains, on lanyard pouches, on lanyards, on banners. I do actually like that banner. Now, I don't think I've actually ever seen the third movie. I think there's 3 of them. And I think she's called Night Fury. No, that's what Toothless is called. What is she called? I was so close. She's a Light Fury. This Toothless hat is definitely more of an upgrade than that first one I saw. Yeah, what are we thinking? Yeah? Definitely not for me. It's also like a weird like paperboy hat. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's a very weird size, but it's cool. I'm sure it'll sell well, but just not an item for me. Up next is our Wizarding World of Harry Potter land, which is called Ministry of Magic. This is the 3rd Harry Potter land that Universal has across 3 different theme parks, so they're all in different locations. And this one, as you guys can probably tell, is based on Paris, France, which is from the Fantastic Beasts franchise. You've got all the Parisian influence here. It looks like it's going to be kind of similar to Diagon Alley a little bit. I know that this is the circus tent for the live show they're going to have. You've got signages for like wands and Quidditch and robes, alchemy, herbology, Parisian cafe, wands and butterbeer, of course. You've even got one of the girls dressed as someone from Beauxbatons, which is the French school. So far, this land feels the most secretive. It feels like they haven't shown much for it. In fact, when they like did the preview of like Epic Universe in general, they barely touched on this. And I think it's because of Warner Brothers and Harry Potter and really keeping things under wraps. And I know for the main attraction, you're supposed to be whisked off to the British Ministry of Magic via the Floo network. So through the fireplaces with the green fire and everything from the films. The merch for Ministry Magic looks pretty regal. I would expect nothing less for the Ministry Magic itself. It does feel a little too similar to the Celestial Park, just generic Epic Universe merch. For in dreams, we enter a world that is entirely our own. Yeah, this little logo seems to be on everything, like the glass and like a water bottle, a backpack, a t-shirt. Now, none of the Niffler merch is new, but because they are closely tied, if not exclusively tied, to the Fantastic Beasts franchise, they're obviously very prominent here. I want to say Tokyo's version of the Wizarding World has like a little hand puppet. Well, they have wands here too. Has a little hand puppet of the Niffler, like you can actually meet a Niffler in the land. We haven't seen that yet here in the States, but maybe this is our chance to finally see one because I think they're very, very cute. Of course, this display has just your general Hogwarts house merchandise. All 4 houses featured with a cup and a shirt. Not new merchandise, but Harry Potter regardless. Now we come to the land, aka my childhood, that I think I'm most excited for. If it's not this one, it's the final one I'm going to show you guys. But it's Super Nintendo World. Now we've seen Super Nintendo World open out in Hollywood and Tokyo. We're finally getting ours, and ours is being built in its full completion. We're getting it 100% from the start. Our version is going to open up with the Bowser ride, which you can actually barely see off the corner there. It's the Mario Kart attraction. We're going to have the Yoshi adventure ride there where you get to ride in little Yoshis around the land. And ours is going to be opening with the Donkey Kong Country expansion, which is probably the thing I'm most excited about for this land, because we're going to be getting not only just the Donkey Kong section, which looks amazing, but we're going to be getting a Donkey Kong roller coaster. There's going to be a lot of roller coasters in this park, by the way. What's unique about this one, it's called Minecart Madness. These roller coaster carts, if you're familiar with how Donkey Kong works, you will jump tracks and land safely on the other side before you complete the coaster track. We've got Mario merch, we've got Luigi merch, we've got Princess Peach merch, we've got Bowser merch, and we've got Yoshi merch. There's also just like some general plain things for the land, so if you don't want a character, you can still represent Super Nintendo with this hoodie. There's a t-shirt, there's a hat, there's a bag, there's a pin. It's also so odd seeing just like little character plush like for Lakitu. Like that's just such a little random character. Like he's important for Mario Kart, but I don't think I've ever seen merch for him before. Giant Mario hat. Oh my gosh, is this gonna be a video of just me trying on weird hats all day? Arguably, I think this is way cooler than the toothless hat I tried on, but oh my gosh, is it massive. I can like barely see out of it. I feel very silly. This is huge and obviously not ideal for wearing in Orlando temperature. If I had to pick a favorite character shirt, it's probably gonna be Bowser here. This is just so cool. It's a very thin shirt too. Probably really good for hot weather. Does it have them on the back too? Oh no, it doesn't. That's kind of a missed opportunity to have like the back side of them. All right, I found my first official wish list item. I remember seeing these for the other lands, the one in Osaka and the one in California, and these look so good. I'm actually even wearing like a boot hat, like there's a boot emblem on my hat. And I have a Boo tattoo as well. I really, really, really love Boo. Man, that's cute. And our final land is going to be Dark Universe, which is the classic Universal Monsters land. And this is probably what I'm most excited for. I've always loved the Universal Monsters, and this just looks so good. Looks like we're entering the village of Darkmoor. I think that's what it says, Darkmoor. And these people look a little too excited to be entering a land full of terror. They don't show a lot here, but I would assume that's probably either like a gift shop or a restaurant. And this is going to be like one of the main attractions, if not the main attraction of the land. And judging by the electricity here, we're looking at Frankenstein's castle. It's a very warm invite here with the skeleton in the cage. No big deal. This land actually has the least amount of merchandise I've seen so far, and it all seems to just be like black with this blue kind of emblem on it. We do have all the Universal monsters, or at least like the big six here. Got Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman, the Mummy, and my favorite, Creature from the Black Lagoon, or Gillman. Over in this final corner, we kind of just have like an amalgamation of the different franchises and stuff. And there is more stuff here for Universal Monsters. I don't think any of it's new, but I did see these cool figures I don't think I've seen before. I know they're kind of going for a new look of what the monsters look like now in Dark Universe. Gilman's looking pretty cool. Now, it is insanely busy in here today because it is a Sunday. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, fathers out there. And let's see if we can wedge in and find a spot here at this giant model. So where I'm at right now, this is going to be the area for Super Nintendo World. That's the Donkey Kong coaster. And the way you're going to want to look at the model, if you want to look at it head on, that is the Grand Helios Hotel. That's the hotel that's inside the park. That's the back of the park. So if you want to get a great look, you're going to want to go from all the way over here. And there's the entrance. I don't know if I'm going to have the ability to wedge myself in over there, but if you want like a good head-on idea, that's where it's going to be. I wish I could get closer to this because it's just so like elaborately detailed. There's so many little bits and bobs like everywhere. Like there's literally little tiny Yoshis. They're like that big. There's Dark Universe. You can see the castle that was in the picture over there. And then there's also going to be a family coaster in there. We believe it's going to be called the Wolfman. It's a family coaster. I believe it's a spinning coaster. Managed to wedge my way over here at the main entrance, and this just looks so good, you guys. We've got the emblem for the park, which is called Kronos. It's that tower right there. I haven't tried out any of the AR stuff yet, but there's these little things there. So when you have the app pulled up, you can kind of hover over it. So like the inside of buildings or little things that are happening in the land. This also gets us pretty close to the Isle of Berk, How to Train Your Dragon land. I think this land's gonna have the most attractions. I think it's the one that's more or less geared towards kids. Like there's definitely some more child-friendly activities here. Like there's a water boat style attraction where you can spray each other. There's like a kid's playground. There's a flat ride where you can spin around. But there's also that giant coaster we saw, which you can see it off in the distance over there. It looks like a pretty lengthy coaster. It's more long than it is like high. They're also going to have the stage show here in this building, which I think is the same one over in one of the Asia parks. I forget which one. Over here, we've got the Wizarding World Ministry of Magic area, which it looks very, very small. Like that's kind of how Wizarding World lands tend to be. They're very, very, very tiny. As you can tell, it has a lot of show buildings for a lot of different attractions. There's going to be a show that you enter through here. That's what that giant show building is. And then there's supposed to be one giant attraction where you go to the Ministry of Magic, but I don't necessarily know where it is. I would assume further back in here. And that's just one ride that we have like very little details on. Part of Celestial Park is going to have this dueling coaster called Stardust Racers. Originally was called Starfall Racers. And I just think this looks wildly intense. Like this is a big coaster. It looks like something crazy that you would build in like Roller Coaster Tycoon as a kid that like your guests would be afraid to ride. And this is like one of the big centerpieces for the park. That's gonna be so cool. It's been a while since we've had a dueling coaster. Speaking of Celestial Park, we can see that right there, which is going to be a carousel. We've got this giant fountain in the middle, which I would assume would be for like nighttime spectaculars. I don't know if it's gonna be like a watercolor show or if that's where people are gonna be gathered around to watch fireworks. And there's the Grand Helios Hotel, that hotel that's inside of the park. There's some other hotels that are gonna be built alongside it that are outside of the park. I think it's called Stella Luna and Terra Nova. And here is a close-up look at Dark Universe. Wow, all the trees. That's actually what I'm like really impressed by, is just how much foliage is in this park. Like it's not gonna feel barren at all. There's that family coaster, the Wolfman coaster. And then there is the entrance to the dark ride, which is Frankenstein's castle. It is interesting that they did include the big show buildings because normally they try and hide that kind of stuff. And then just the outdoor queue for this attraction. I would assume this is the outdoor queue for it. It's just so elaborately themed. All right, let's get this app pulled up. Let's see how this works. Beyond this gate, find garden screen and epic worlds to fill your dreams. Right off the bat, we've got a windmill on fire, which if you pull away, that's the model right there. But I hear this is supposed to be the Burning Blade Tavern, I believe. And this is a reference to Frankenstein, where the villagers set the windmill on fire. And it's interesting that they're actually gonna have it like be on fire all of the time. They won't let us see inside of the show building for the Frankenstein attraction, mostly because it hasn't been formally announced yet. The only two lands that we've not seen formally announced are this one and the Wizarding World. We've seen everything else basically. Here we are in the Donkey Kong section of Super Nintendo, and I did see DK there. He was beating his chest a few minutes ago. Do it again, do the roar, there you go. And then Rambi the Rhino back there. He's probably going to be one of the little mini games we have. And then I saw a little parrot flying around. Yeah, there he is. I don't think he's going to actually be flying. I'm sure he'll be featured somewhere in the land. I just saw the minecart jump. Ooh, there it goes. There's Diddy in it. Disappears into the cave. That's so cool. Well, I'm not going to spoil all the AR things for you guys. That way you have something to look at when you guys come check out this preview center. But I think it is wonderfully well done. Makes me very, very excited for what they have in store for the future. I think Epic Universe is going to be a truly epic park. Well, why don't we head over to Islands of Adventure for our next store, and that's the Monster Hideaway Tiki Bar in Lost Continent. This is a seasonal rotating location that always features Universal monsters. And this time of year, since we're prepping for Halloween Horror Nights, we've got some HHN merchandise. Oh, what a great centerpiece to walk into than the bride giving us a lei. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Not as elaborately themed as the Tribute store over in Studios is. We'll see that later. But always a home run and always very, very, very well done. We've had a couple different drops of Halloween Horror Nights merchandise since, I believe, April. But this is the most recent one, and this one's been my favorite so far because it is just so unbelievably vibrant. Got a little Boo, a bunch of other little crushed gourds. Even though I don't like things that have the year on it, that is so unbelievably subtle that, like, this could be a t-shirt I can see myself buying. I really, really, really love this tee. This is from the merchandise drop before the first one I showed you guys. I love the acid wash on this one, and that 24 for the year is even more subtle than the 2024 on that first one. Each time this store transforms, it makes the monsters look less and less intimidating. Like here they are in a swanky 1950s tiki bar, just enjoying themselves. Like, why would I ever be afraid of these guys? Boris Karloff's mummy. The Invisible Man is making us some delicious shaken beverages. Oh, and I love that behind him, it's like a fish tank. There's words in there, but I can't really tell what they are. And I never remember who this guy is. I want to say it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But he's the only one I can never place who he is. But he's very creepy. Probably the creepiest one of all. But he's just kind of icky looking. Sorry, sir. Oh, I just noticed the tentacle coming out of the tank. The one behind the bar. That's so cool. They even went as far as to create like coasters and matchbooks and umbrellas for the lounge. Like, you can't take them with you, but it's crazy that they even went to like make little things like this. Oh, and even a stir stick. What would I get? Probably Laguna Bowl, because it's just the biggest one and it's on fire. That's pretty cool. Mad Scientist looks good. Frank and Robert. Oh, it's got the prices. These are pretty expensive. Do I get to at least keep the mug? If I get to keep the mug, I'll buy it. I turned the corner and thought these were real men. Well, I guess he's multiple real men. Or was? I don't know. And he has outgrown his shoes. Time to get new shoes, sir. And because this is like a permanent Halloween store year-round, we have this Halloween t-shirt company brand that's always featured here. The styles change pretty frequently. You can buy their shirts online too. You don't have to buy them here, but they're just always so very well done. Halloween's my favorite holiday, so like coming in here is just like a nice little taste of it, even in the middle of summer. Whoa, look at this collection. I don't know if you can buy these. I doubt you can buy like these specific ones, but I don't even know if these are like available for purchase because I love those ones right there. I love Trader Sam's over at Disney World. Like, it's my favorite bar. I even have a Trader Sam's tattoo. And I love to collect tiki mugs. So this is like a dream to see all these really cool ones. The man, the myth, the legend, Gillman, creature from the Black Lagoon, back here on his throne. I've been seeing rumors for Epic Universe that we could be getting an expansion, like in a second phase for Gillman, because I don't think he's gonna be heavily featured over in Darkmoor. And I think it's gonna be like a Jungle Cruise style boat ride with him. And if that's the case, like, that is a dream. Very quick visit over here to Islands of Adventure for the All Hallows Eve Boutique. I really love when they do this store. It's a store they don't have to necessarily do, but it's a great use of the space, especially in a land that kind of really doesn't have much left in it. Not as in-depth as the tribute stores normally are, but still a wonderful use of the space and still very elaborately themed. Well, speaking of tribute stores, we have one more location to go look at, and that's the Tribute Store over in Universal Studios proper. You see, kids, back in the day, when I was young, we used to have a little thing called a movie rental store. It's where you go to a location, like Blockbuster, drop a couple of dollars, rent the newest movie, maybe your favorite movie, for a couple of nights. Then you return it, rinse and repeat. It was a good time. Those unfortunately are gone, but that's what this year's Tribute Store is themed after. movie rental location from the early 2000s. 10 points if you guys can tell me where this phone booth is from. Let me know in the comments. Now the Tribute Store is gonna have a ton of different details, and this time around is gonna be based on classic Universal films. Like we've got Jaws, E.T., Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. I'm gonna try and catch things as I'm walking past them. There's a lot to absorb in these stores, and if there's something I missed, I'm so sorry. Let me know in the comments if I walk right past something and don't bother mentioning it. Like here's one for Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Beethoven reference. Shrek reference. We were just over there. We've already got confirmation of the Halloween Tribute Store, which is gonna be open from August 30th through November 3rd for Halloween Horror Nights. Mega Video Rentals welcomes you. Kinda looks like a South Park character. You can choose to immortalize yourself here in the Tribute Store in the form of these old VHS tapes. You can pay money to have a picture of you taken and put on these fake movies. So it's funny seeing this display because it's a bunch of classic old films, you know, the 90s films, and then you get to Shrek. Is that vintage now? That's only came out in 2001. That's the newest, youngest movie out of any of these. That kind of hurts. Oh, Small Soldiers. I loved Small Soldiers as a kid. And E.T. Both these were movies I watched a ton growing up. There's a lot of Ghostbusters references in this store so far, and I think it's because we're gonna get Ghostbusters back. I think in two different forms. One, I think we're gonna get Ghostbusters as part of the Mega Movie Parade. This is gonna debut on July 3rd, so a couple weeks from now, but it's gonna be the first daytime parade that Universal's introduced in quite a while. And I think we're gonna get a Halloween Horror Nights house for it. We just had a brand new movie last year, which I still haven't seen yet, but I've seen some speculation maps, and we might be getting the Ghostbusters this year, which I'm fine with, it'll be cool. What's cool is that for things like the Tribute Store and the bars they do over in City Walk, and for the Halloween Horror Nights houses, is that they will often go to like estate sales or antique stores and find old stuff just to use as props. So we've got like this old TV, this looks like a digital camera case. Sorry, the glare is really bad. Digital camera case, and then there's a rewind machine for the VHSs that would like rewind the tape. Look at that old camera. We have come so far in technology. There's quite a few cardboard cutouts I've seen in here too. I don't know if these are like made for the store or if these are vintage, but very cool. Shrek just feels so out of place in here. Like I know it's a 20-plus-year-old movie, which hurts my heart to say, but this doesn't feel like it should be in this store. Like this store feels like it's definitely part of like late 80s, early 90s, not 2002. Let's go behind this seemingly forbidden curtain. Oh, see, yeah, we're already told to get out. Got some old abandoned machines, like the popcorn machine, candy dispensers, scanning for Easter eggs, mop bucket. Ooh, there's something from the old Oleksii store. I can't really tell what it is though. Is it a flux capacitor? Maybe it's the ray gun from Ghostbusters, but the store we went to earlier, the Epic Universe Preview Center, had all of these in there when it was the Oleksii store, and it paid homage to all these different movies that we're seeing in here today. So it's cool that they reused it. We didn't throw it in a warehouse somewhere. Ooh, Amity Island Shark Tours, Deep Sea Swim Club. That's cool. I love graphic tees with things on the back of them. That's very cool. Beetlejuice is just walking around in here? Well, I didn't expect a celebrity sighting in here. Let's go backtrack a little bit. This kid's tea down here makes me wish I had a kid, because I would absolutely throw my kid in this. A lot of people think E.T. is creepy. Like, arguably he is kind of creepy, but like, he's also really cute. He's like 80s cute, you know? Be good. Very old selection of TVs for sale, TVs and camcorders, video cameras and things. And of course, we've got more Ghostbusters. Of course, we can see behind the counter where the employees work. Lots of junk, very messy. It's a cool vintage igloo cooler though. Aha, we found it. There's Earl the Squirrel, our first Earl the Squirrel reference. And there's Gurg the Llama. Both these characters are very heavily featured throughout these stores. I love when people pay to do the little add yourself in thing. I don't even know what's officially called. And they do their pet. So because I followed Beetlejuice into the arcade, I've already seen it, but we're gonna pretend like it's all brand new. Whoa, wow, look at the arcades. First time I've seen it. Ooh. No, it actually is really cool. It definitely reminds me of ones you'd find at the bowling alley or the roller rink or the laser tag arena. Like this carpet is just like my aesthetic. Chef's kiss. Super creepy wizard here at the Magic Castle arcade. Oh God, he's talking. Laser Dungeon, let's go play. And I think all these games are fake because I thought this was Mrs. Pac-Man, but it says Mrs. Dumpty? Who is that? Unfortunately, we can't play it though. This one is Universal Quest 5. I didn't even play 1 through 4 yet. Just the fact that they took their time to make something like this, that's all original for this house or this store, is really cool. Halloween Horror Nights, the game, part 1. Oh, that's so cool. And with this store, we are 3 for 3 on our Universal Monsters. We've seen them in the Epic Universe store, the Monster Hideaway, and now here, Drac, Wolfman, and Frank. Tribute Brawler 5, another 5. I need to ask what that means, because I'm confused as to why we keep dropping 5s, or at least the second time we've seen it. But this is very much inspired by Street Fighter, with that guy basically being Blanca. And I'm sure these were all people who work in creative to help make it, which is cool that they've like inserted themselves here as like a love letter to what they love doing. Ah, so this is Laser Dungeon. This is the laser tag, and it's Choose Thy Fate, which means it's Dueling Dragons. And I actually appropriately wore my Dueling Dragons t-shirt today. And it wouldn't be an 80s or 90s themed anything without random sharks and spaceships and lasers and planets and stuff. But there's an E.T. reference right there. That's E.T. ship. Scoop and Sam, which looks like a reference to like Dig Dug maybe? Maybe it's like a Dig Dug game. Okay, and this one is Polybius. And I know I've heard that name before, but I literally could not tell you where. But I want to say it's some like myth or legend or urban legend or something. Let me know in the comments if you guys know what Polybius is. Oh, it says do not push. We're gonna push it, sorry. Nothing. Another Gurg reference. Gurg's Alien Adventure. There's Earl, my boy Earl. Are you a bad enough llama to save all the coffee? Also back in the day, you used to collect tickets for winning games. Now they just load onto a card for kids. We would come up here with all of our tickets. These right here that the games would spit out. We would trade those in for prizes. So we've got some pretty iconic toys here, like this Blacklight Slinky for 100 tickets. That's pretty steep, 100 tickets. Got the finger trap, the jack set, the little water gun, vampire teeth, spiders and snakes, army men. You can actually spend 32,000 tickets for this little TV. That is not a great deal. And as with every tribute store, we have a treat case here. Very picked over, unfortunately. Very busy today. Lots of delicious snacks are gone. We've got some fun themed things in here. Lots of Shrek things are left over. Like this one caught my eye. It's a donkey waffle s'more with waffle pieces and maple. These little macarons look good. Like that ET one is peanut butter and jelly. And the Shrek one is key lime. Today is your birthday, Greg.
Which one?
Well, I was going to come play Laser Dungeon, but they closed it for a birthday party. Thanks a lot, Greg. Now we're heading into the final room, which is the Tribute Theater. This is very cool. Lots of old school references to everything. We've got an entire display for Ghostbusters, which is the end, I believe, of the first film. We're gonna need a bigger boat. And there's E.T. with Elliot, which is the only opening day attraction, aside from the Monster Makeup horror show, the only opening day attraction still here at Universal Studios. And this attraction will essentially be here forever. There's no way that they can actually get rid of it because I believe Steven Spielberg vowed to never work with Universal again if they got rid of it. So good for him. Keep the classics. Universal is very much inspired and ran by their classics. They have a lot of great modern things, but these 80s classics will forever be in the hearts of people and the reason why we have Universal Studios in the first place. Now this says Halloween 2 coming soon. Now I don't know if this is like a play on that the movie Halloween 2 hasn't come out yet, or if we're getting a Halloween 2 house this year, or if it's just Halloween in general is coming soon. Ooh, I would love if they did a thing house for Halloween Horror Nights. That would be so cool.
Ready?
And as you walk out, right before you leave, we have Earl the Squirrel's star for the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Well-deserved and very late. He should have got this way earlier in his career. So obviously I can't leave the Tribute store without trying a new snack. I went ahead and got the Donkey Waffle S'more, which was the maple and waffle piece s'more. And then I got the ET macaron, which is peanut butter and jelly flavored. I think I'm gonna eat the Donkey S'more first because it's made of white chocolate, or it's at least enrobed in white chocolate, and it is already melting. There's no polite and proper way to eat that. I don't really get any maple from it or waffle pieces. It's mostly just that big hunk of marshmallow. I need water, good Lord. I was gonna say there's no chocolate in it, but I forgot it's enrobed in chocolate. It is smothered. And it kind of like hurts your teeth, it's so sweet. But I think this is just okay. You're buying it for the novelty, as are most things inside of the Tribute store. Out of 5, you know, we saw Universal Monsters in every single store today. Let's do that. Out of 5 classic Universal Monsters, I think I'll give it a 3. I think a 3 is doable. Maybe even a 2.5. Like if you want something that's painfully sweet, this is for you. And to interrupt my glorious professional food review, got some rain starting to come in pure Florida fashion. Sky was beautiful 20 seconds ago. All right, now we're gonna try the ET macaron, which I'm glad I got an ET snack since ET is probably my favorite film in that Tribute store. I have become quite the macaron connoisseur since our trip to Disneyland earlier in February. So anytime I get a chance to try a brand new macaron, I'm gonna do it. That is very peanut butter forward. The jelly is a little bit there, like you can see a little bit of it. It's mostly just nostalgic. It feels very appropriate for the ET one to be peanut butter and jelly. Not only for Reese's Pieces, I just put that together, but because it feels like staying at home like Elliot did. You're making peanut butter jelly sandwich. I don't remember if he actually did in the movie or not, but it feels nostalgic to have a peanut butter jelly one. This is arguably better than the s'mores that I just had. I think I'd give it, out of 5 Universal Monsters, I think a 4. I think a 4 is pretty accurate. That sprinkle has turned into full-on rain. Well guys, thank you so much for coming along with me today to Universal Orlando to check out the 3 different new retail locations. Obviously, if I had to pick the best one, it's gonna be the Tribute store. Every year they do a knockout job. There's 4 different ones a year, and each one I'm excited to see what little Easter eggs they hide and what little references and what it's about. And this one might be my favorite summer one I've seen so far. Now, typically these stores will last until the end of summer, so you guys definitely have a while to come check it out. I don't know how long the preview center is gonna be here for. My assumption is until the park opens, which is slated for summer of next year, but frankly, I think it's gonna open way before that. They are moving at a brisk pace, which just makes me all the happier. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys like our video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get updates on all of our future adventures, and let me know in the comments, what land in Epic Universe are you guys most excited for? And as always, thanks for making memories with us. I've been Adrian. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!